hier auf dem Stuhl?
Today's lecture will begin God's grace was Virama.
Das ist keine offene. So, aber das ist ein bisschen klein, oder? Der geht nicht höher.
Ja, genau, aber kannst du ja das so
Reicht das?
Okay.
Yeah, for plugging.
I don't know, the Gokuls are technicians.
What do you need?
Electricity for computer.
And computer will be here.
This I ask him because we have a plug here.
You sit there?
No, but laptop you need here, or can I take like laptop there?
Can be here.
Okay.
Der Stuhl auch nicht.
Aha, ja, also stimmt. Wait, you will get more.
Here. Thank you.
HDMI?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, size.
Oh, very nice stuff.
Not verse.
No verse.
Scientific Saturday. Tire aquela a bandeira do Muhammad fazendo favor. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayan Vishnupada Paramahansa Virakacharya Astottara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhai Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON and BBT Founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Srila Prabhupada Ji Ki Lord Premanandi All glorious assembly devotees All glorious assembly devotees All glorious assembly devotees All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumiritanjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Paristaya Bhutale Shmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitnamide Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayadvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna to everywhere. Welcome to Scientific Saturday. Okay. Stay better if we switch off this light. Off. Make a test. Better to you?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the program of Scientific Saturday. Devotees like Yakandadi and Maha Krishna Swami created this program. I think they want to establish a dialogue between academic knowledge and Vedic knowledge. Okay? And today Prabhu Akandadi will give class, but he is sick. Yes, and he will continue your research about the mind in the Vedas. Okay. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Okay. Every academic research begins with a question, a problem. Can Krishna consciousness or Bhagavad Dharma be compared to a science? Because many times Prabhupada in his books use the concept scientific or science regard to the Krishna consciousness. Yes, O Narada, the science of God, Srimad Bhagavatam, was spoken to me in summary by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it was spoken as the accumulation of his diverse potencies. Please expand this science yourself. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana means the science of God. The science of God becomes perceivable by such person who is situated in the Brahma Bhuta. I mean to say status. Okay? This is twice examples by Prabhupada mentioned or used the concept of science for Bhagavad Dharma or Krishna consciousness. And 2 points. We need to clear what is science, what the meaning of science, what the meaning of the concept of science, and if it's possible, religion support this concept, and what the academic group, what the university knowledge thinking about of science, because practically is this in this area that born this concept. Krishna consciousness is a religion. This is a position of many academics, scientists, and etc. Krishna consciousness is a religion, therefore based on faith or belief. So it cannot be a science, objective and demonstrable, empirical, not verifiable. Yes, when you talk that Krishna consciousness is a scientific, many academic and scientists have this behavior. Okay, first step is the definition of a concept. What is the main concept? Science. What is meant by science? Brief definition of concept science. This is a quote. This is a philosophy dictionary Nicola Abagnano is a most famous, very recognized in the academic peoples, recognize this is a bona fide dictionary. Science knowledge that includes in form or misery a guarantee of its own validity. The limitation expressed by the words in and form or misery is included here to make the definition applicable to modern science, which makes no pretense of absolutes. This is very fun. But according to the traditional concept, science includes absolute guarantee of validity, being therefore as knowledge the maximum degree of certainty. Or they not where go, but they have a method, yes, but they not for where go. A guarantee of its validity. Technique, in this sense, is the normal use as sense organ as well as the operation with complicated calculating instruments. But procedures allow for countable checks. It must not be presumed that such verifications are infallible and exhaustive. That is, that there exists a verification technique which, once used in relation to a science, renders its subsequent use useless in relation to the same science, without the latter losing some time of its validity. The controllability of verification procedures, whether gross or refined, means the repeatability of their applications, so that science remains as such only as long as the possibility of verification remains. Okay? But basically, in a gross mode, the source, the foundation of the knowledge for the Western peoples, for the Western culture, was the Bible. The Bible was the foundation, the source of knowledge. And basically, in the Middle Age, we have a theocentric society. Yes, the Bible is an answer for all things. But with the changing, with the beginning of the modern age, the Bible was put in check, and not God is more the misery, not God is more the center of the foundation. And we changed the faith in God for the faith in man. We changed a theocentric society for an anthropocentric society. Yes? In modern society, where arise the modern sciences, modern science, the basis is the man. And the man, the human being, have basically two instruments, two tools for getting knowledge. First are the senses, yes, the eyes, ear, tact, okay? And the senses capture the matter, the things on the nature. And after we have a contact with the things on nature or reality, this in Vedas is called pratyaksha pramana, the directly perception. With these sediments, with this knowledge about the things, the reason, the mind and intelligence process this knowledge. And we have the logic, inferences, deduction, induction, and we can make hypotheses about the reality. Yes? But the point is, human being means senses and reason. And we abandoned the revelation of Bible. Of course, the Bible have too much limitations, but the men in modern age refused the Bible and accept only the man, senses and mind, basically. Okay, this is the quotation, if you want to check in this book, but this is a Portuguese version. Okay, faith and the facts. Facts are collected by the senses. Faith in facts is a characteristic of the modern world. The man is the center of the modern world. This faith demands, like an order, that the believer bow down to what is created. Therefore, it says to him, bow down to the facts. The fact is considered as something absolute. Yes, what I can see, what I can smell, what can I hear. This is unique thing that we have. And this is absolute for the science, which compulsively speaks for itself. The experience is thus compared to a court of law, where an interrogation is carried out and judgment is issued. And like every court, this one is also considered an objective instance. But the domain that, above all, is believed to be subject to this objectivity is science. And therefore, she is looked upon as the guardian and discoverer of truth. Yeah, this is a quotation of Koch. This is okay. This is a famous modern scientific method. Do you know that the one of Prometheus of modern age is a monster of Frankenstein, and Frankenstein is born in Switzerland, in Geneva. Yes, the castle of the Dr. Frankenstein was in Geneva. Yes, the Switzerland have a lot of crazy scientists. Okay, this is a summary of the modern scientific method. Confidence in the senses as a basis. Okay, confidence in senses. This is good for getting knowledge. What do you think? Yes. No, because our epistemology. Epistemology means the study of the basis of knowledge. How can I know? How I can get knowledge or knowledge theory? In the academic, especially in 20th and 21st century, this is a very important area on philosophy, yes, epistemology. And the epistemology came from the Greek word episteme. Episteme, Plato defined like a real truth or real knowledge, truth knowledge. This is a very interesting foundation because Plato, in your book Republic, he divided knowledge in two kinds: the doxa and episteme. Doxa means opinion. Doxa means the knowledge came from senses, or like we call the empiric knowledge, empirism, because empiry in Greek means sense. The point that the knowledge came from senses, empiric knowledge, is no good, because the senses are imperfect. How the knowledge that came from an imperfect source can be perfect? This knowledge about opinion is like the knowledge from the crowd, from the common peoples. Today maybe the rain is coming, today make the snow, today is cold, today is hot. Yes, the knowledge about the senses. The main point that is not to have a deep reflection about this. Okay, today is cold, but what is cold? Now are 1 o'clock, okay? But what is the time? Yes, the common sense, or the knowledge that coming from senses don't have a deep reflection about the things, about the reality, about the nature. We can say that it don't have a very rigorous, no, don't have a rigorous procedure with the knowledge. And episteme, what Plato defined like episteme? Remember that the episteme will give origin to the word, the concept of science. Episteme is knowledge that comes from the logos, from the reason. But we can speak based on the Vedic knowledge. But the mind is imperfect also, yes? But the mind have the propension to speculation. But the mind can be have approach to God. Yes? Who is God? Yeah? We cannot see God in the nature, with the senses. But the mind can think in God. Yes, God is eternal. God is don't have begin, don't have finish. All this concept the mind can thinking. Yes. The problem is if I don't have a contact with the senses, with God, this is not science, according Immanuel Kant. Yes, in this sense, the mind, the rational knowledge is superior. We can approach of God, but bhakti give purify senses, and we can give direct access with God. But this is another thing. Yes, this is the difference in Plato about doxa, common sense. Yes, common sense, and episteme like a science. There is a knowledge. Plato gave examples of the rational knowledge, like logic, like mathematics, like geometry. These knowledge are perfect according to Plato, but is different what Descartes, for example, thinking about the rational knowledge. I think, I dare, yes, penso logo existo. this main sentence of Descartes. The logos, the rational knowledge, in especially Plato and Pythagoras, is too much more intuition. But even this, the Vedic knowledge is superior. Okay, the basis of modern science is confidence in the sense as a basis. Yes, logical reasoning, deduction, induction, hypothesis. The point that the matter to logical reasoning, deduction, induction, hypothesis came from the senses. Yes, the senses is the basis of all in the modern science. Repetition of procedures. Yes, you go to the laboratory and make an experiment many times. So bored. Have a joke so bored. Have a joke in philosophy. One of the first modern philosophers, Francis Bacon, he make an experiment with chicken and ice. Because this, for repetition, he get a pneumonia and die. And Umberto Eco have a joke about this also, but I not put because our time, but no, our time is good. And the symbol maximum of the academic or science knowledge is the experience. Yes. Like we have a rational hypothesis. The rational hypothesis is the water boiled at 100 degrees. Is correct? This is a hypothesis. And I get the water, put in a pot, put in a stove, and when 100 degrees, the water boiled. This is verifiable. I can see this. I can repeat the experience many times with the same conditions, and I have a same result. And I can see, I can propagate that this is a law. The water boiled in 100 degrees. But first, water is a material element. Remember, our senses, pratyaksha pramana, can see, can have contact only with material elements. Our senses are so limited that we cannot see ghosts, we cannot see what have in another part of this wall. Yes, our senses is very limited. But one thing inferior, the material, our senses can dominate, explore. But the question is, if the absolute truth, if God is superior, how can our senses dominate, capturate God? Because the meaning of science is explore the nature, yes? The controller of the nature by human being. But how can human being controller or capturate God? Yes? You take God and bring him in a laboratory and make a dissection, put God in a microscope. This is not possible. Understand it? We have a method that have an impediment, have an obstacle, that is the senses. The scientific method is incapable, is not able to experience, to get God. The picture for you, Dan. Do you know where the Frankenstein monster born? In Geneva. Yes, in the book of Mary Shelley, the castle of Dr. Frankenstein was in Geneva. Yes. Crazy scientists in Switzerland have a lila.
Proud Swiss.
But how can a religion satisfy the demands and rigor of so-called science? Here, the appropriation of the term science is treated with the elements consonant with the modern and natural notion of science, such as rigor, systematization, objectivism, universal, and all this. The use of reason and even the senses, but not the total dependence on them exclusive for the later, for as Jiva Goswami and even Plato and Descartes. It is very, very interesting in the history of the philosophy or the history of the science, because the first philosophers like Plato, even Descartes, don't have truth in science, in senses. Yeah? They have desconfiança. They unfaithful. They don't faith in sense because they know Plato and Descartes that the senses are imperfect. Remember, Descartes have the example of the tower. If you are distance of the tower, you have a perspective, but if you approach it, you have another. You have another see of the tower. Yes. Yes. But I come from England, the British empiricism, like John Locke, especially David Hume from Scotland, they will change this. They will talk that the basic of knowledge is empirical. The basis of all knowledge, truthful, is the sense. Yes, because these philosophers, the British empiricism, like David Hume, John Locke, I forget the name of one. So many of the bases of science came from these philosophers. As Jiva Goswami and even Plato and Descartes point out, these are flawed, and the primary use of revealed scriptures, Shabda, would be the rationale for the process. In the sense, the term is equal, distinguishing itself from common sense or opinion, which form its knowledge by human instruments only. Stopping at total reality, physical and metaphysical, jnana and vijnana as your object. This is a quote from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada translation. I shall now declare unto you is full this knowledge, both phenomenal and nominals. This being now, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Yes, this is interesting because this word is phenomenal and nominals is a Greek word also. Yes, Prabhupada used phenomenal that come from the phenomenos that shows to our senses, phenomenal. And nominals means that beyond the phenomenal, beyond the senses, that it is metaphysic or the spiritual knowledge. Yes, the one real science need support both knowledge, nominal and phenomenal, spiritual and material knowledge. But the history of Western countries, the Western society is a degradation, is a decreasing. We have Jai Jagannath Jai Baladev Jai Smat Subhadra Mahan Jai Shri Gauranta Ki Jai. We have a knowledge revealed in Western culture. So we have a kind of Shabda Pramana in Western guides, that was the Bible, but the Bible is too much limited. Yes, many thinkers see this, and this Shabda Pramana was put in check, and many times refused. But in this regarding this, the human society advanced in medicine, in very comfortable knowledge by the human beings, yes, senses enjoyment. But the question, the real question, what is the real question for the science? Who I am, where I come in, where I go. This is the real questions for the science, for the thinker, for the philosophy. Yeah, what is this reality? Yes, we can improve the material reality with more comfortable, but the real questions we not solved, with not answered questions. Yes. If we observe the progress of modern science up to the present day, science has increasingly moved away from the possibility of knowing the metaphysical or the absolute. Such a failure stems from the fact that modern science is based on the soul and exclusive trust in human tools, the senses and reason. As the senses are materially assured, are all areas of advancement in these last 300 years are related only to matter, which is a very small portion of reality. The question of who I am, where I come from, and where I am going have increasingly been forgotten, if not outright dismissed, causing collapse and ever-increasing darkness in our human society. This is very interesting because we have many facilities, yes? Thinking like 300 years ago, one man from here, Zurich, go to London. Yes, very difficult, yes, very, it's like an odyssey. But today, I get a flight, in 2-3 hours, I'm in London. Yes, the distances diminished, yes, the very facility, very comfortable, but the real knowledge about who is the reality diminishing, yes. And the material facilities increasing, but the knowledge about me and the reality practically disappear in this society. And this is a very hole in the society, who I am. One question for you. The truth in the human tools, senses and reason is wrong? Yeah. The truth, the accept the knowledge that come from senses and from reason is good or bad?
It's relative.
So, okay, develop this.
Relative knowledge. It's relative knowledge, not absolute knowledge.
Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam talk, the knowledge that come from these material senses is relative, yes, but the knowledge that come from the absolute truth, the Brahman, is real. The point that these even senses that are confused us spiritual souls, the senses will be the instrument to give directly perception of Krishna. The point is, our senses now covered by the material. But when these senses will be purified, with the purified senses, we have the direct darshan of God. Premanjana churita bhakti virochanena santa sadaiva hridaisha vilokayanti yang shama sundara chintaguna swarupam govinda adipurushantam maham bhajami. Bhakti means purification of the senses, yes? Rishikesha, Rishikena. How this verse begin? Bhakti means use the senses to pleasure of Krishna, to pleasure of God. What the result? The result that the senses purified. Hmm?
Sorry.
Yeah, go.
This verse you were looking at,
Yeah. Sarvapadi Vinirmuktan. Yes, Sarvapadi. All mistakes. I am this body, I am man, I am female, I am Brazilian, I'm Swiss, I'm Indian, I'm Judah. Yes, all these upadis. Sarvapadi Vinirmuktan. This disappear. And when we offer our senses, Rishikena, Rishikesha, to the controller, to the master of the senses, this happens, yes? The senses purified. Yes? Because what is the function, what is the purpose of the senses? The purpose of the senses is serve Krishna. This is seva. When used in the correctly proportion, correctly mood, the senses purified. Sarvapad Vinimuktam, Tatpartuina Nimalam, Rishikena Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. Yes, through the devotional service, the senses purified, remove the material cover, and we can God, yes? But in material platform, our senses only bewildered the Jivatma, the spiritual soul. How can this unusual gap be resolved? Yes, the peoples actually in the nowadays. For this, the Vedas offer a third way, a third possibility to know yourself, a third epistemology way. A third possibility to know yourself beyond human limitations, a natural and transhuman method. Do you want to know what is this?
Yes.
In the next lecture.
Oh no.
Okay. The point is, we can see that the knowledge, the scientific knowledge, the knowledge in the Western societies go to the whole, but we have a hope, yes, because the third way, the revealed knowledge was abundant in Western, but these are too much structured in Vedas. Yeah, the knowledge of Vedas is universal, is necessary, is systematic, is objective. Yes, objective. If you control your senses, if you purify yourselves with the Bhakti process, you can see God. You can make an experience with God. It's very, very scientific. The same proposition in the Western science we can have in the Vedic science, in the Vedic knowledge.
presents details about the very important aspect of science, that is reproducibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The details of systematic reproducibility in different conditions.
Okay.
And how to improve this condition to found the good results.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For who don't know, the Ravindra Gopal is a PhD in nuclear physics. Okay, I will open to
Nuclear physics. Wow. Really?
I will open to commentaries now. Okay. This is for the next lecture.
This is not in our language.
Thank you so much, Maha Krishna Lama Prabhu, for amazing class. It's I think it's interesting point about the pure material knowledge is that the reasons in the same time that the senses are the base to develop this material knowledge. In the same way, in the same time, is the imperfection, the limitation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is a big contradiction. In the same time,
this is very interesting.
I have my base, and at the same time, my base is the limitation for this, for develop this aspect.
Yeah, this is all things that I have. Yes, the senses.
Yes.
The human being have a sense, but if I use the senses in this platform, I stay bewildered. But the spiritual soul have senses also, but the spiritual senses, and the bhakti process can purify, can help to get the real senses, the real body of the spiritual soul.
And different areas of knowledge, philosophy, physics, mathematics, medicine, biology, have a good, but so much importance in how to describe the procedures considering human knowledge in
the
natural manifestation, but only natural manifestation about material manifestation, and just describe how this phenomenon it's happened, not why it happened.
Yeah.
Just how it's happened, not why.
Yeah. In general, human knowledge means what happens now, but never interested by the source. Yes, they want to see, they get the effect, but forget the cause. Not interested by the cause. And philosophy is the science of that interested by the causes. What is the cause of all causes? Because this Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental, but have a strong sediment of philosophy, of psychology. All sciences that was developed, aparted in the Western culture, are together in Bhagavata and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Because the main point is God. God is absolute. But when you when you go to the human is relative, because I have a perception, Prabhu have a perception, you have another kind of perception of this reality. Damodara Prasada have with your senses have another kind of the perception, yes? Because this knowledge about the matter is relative. And knowledge about God is absolute, is universal, is real true. How you can get one thing that every time is changing. This is the characteristic of the Prakriti, yes? Every time it changing. How you can get one thing? That's so this simulation. This.
And it's very interesting because Srila Prabhupada presents a perfect vision about this these two visions, the spiritual vision, the spiritual knowledge and material knowledge. When he used the words sciences and phenomenal and nominal, and because inside the material knowledge, when scientists talk about the duality, is this duality is inside the material world, matter and energy. This energy is not a spiritual energy, but material energy. But Srila Prabhupada talk and explain beyond this duality in material world, considering the source of all this.
I saw many devotees sometimes when I studied in Brazil in seminary. Many devotees confused and talking, how Prabhupada can use the science term. No, this is wrong. No. If you are with a good health, a good spiritual health, and you have a deep lecture in Prabhupada books, deep study in Prabhupada books, you see that it is very, very appropriate when Prabhupada uses the term scientific for the Vedas, because the knowledge of Vedas is scientific. If you make the experiment, what is the experiment? You control your senses. You do the Krishna consciousness process, Guna, Rupa, Namalila. You have contact with the holy names, form, pastimes, qualities of Krishna. You have contact with Krishna, control your senses. You will see God face to face. This is the method.
You said the Bible is scripture. You said Bible is a scripture, a revealed scripture, but it's not really on the level of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Bible is more a history. It's a history of the Jewish people, and God is not really. God is always talking through somebody. God is not directly revealing their self as in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I would say the West never had really a revelation of science from God, because the Bible is not a revelation of science. It's like the history of people, what the people of the Jewish people went through, how God was talking to them, how God tried to guide them, but it was not a science book. But then the church came and they said, okay, we believe in the Bible, so this is science. They tried to. The Jewish people never said this is a science book. It's only like later then the church made it into a science, so that they can, have power over others. But they don't have the science in the sense of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
A base da pergunta é que a Bíblia não é científica, o Srimad Bhagavatam é. Okay. Sorry, I have a great difficulty to understand the English language. The Bible is very, very important to Western societies, because if you see the history before of the Jesus appearance, especially in Rome and ancient Greece, that is the basis together with the Bible. Greece, Rome, and Bible is the basis of a Western society. Rome and Greece walk into impersonalism in the chaotic degradation in worship demigods, but